You mentioned earlier that if a dog is having a bad day, I might move them here or there. How can you tell a dog is having a bad day?
You spend about 30,000 miles with them. um,
They're looking at you.
It's like,
yeah.
hey,
I
I'm
mean,
not having a good day.
there's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's basically how it goes down. It's kind of sad and embarrassing, maybe, how well I get to know some of these dogs. I have one retiree on my floor over here. Actually, I think he's outside now, but he's about to turn 15, and I think I've mushed about 30,000 miles with him. And that's one thing in a car where you're going 60 miles an hour, and when you park, you leave it. It's quite another thing in a dog team where you're traveling at maybe 9 miles an hour, and then you'll travel for 50 miles, and then you're going to stop and camp out underneath a frozen spruce tree for 4 or 5 hours, and then do another 50 miles. It takes a lot of hours. So a lot of it's body language. A lot of it is knowing what is normal for this dog. Some dogs are typically, I'm thinking Tux, he's another almost 15-year-old that's raised with me. Very mellow. Everybody just calls him Eeyore. He acts, it's the same as he acted when he was 2. Just very mellow, very calm. So obviously, if you go out there and he's just standing there kind of staring at a tree, which he'll do for hours, nothing's out of sorts for him. Otherwise, if you go over to Prophet, who is a very, charismatic, wiggly dog, if he's acting the same way, something's wrong, right? If he's acting, so knowing their norm, the way they move, the way they look, the way they eat, everything about, you can tell.
So Dallas, you're carrying, if I'm not mistaken, everything from the beginning to the race that you need for the entire race. You're not getting resupplied along the way, right?
Yeah, well, we do have resupplies. So in some regards, yes, we're carrying everything we need in the sense of, here's my main kit that's going to go with me. The stuff I need to cook for the dogs, my winter survival stuff, my sleeping bag, all your daily use items, I would say you start with in your sled. Now, the replenishable items, food, the straw that the dogs are sleeping on, the booties that we're going to put on their feet, the fuel we use to cook for the dogs, that is delivered to the checkpoints along the way. So I will often send out between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds of food and supplies to those checkpoints. And then as we're traveling, we can pick up those supplies at the checkpoints and then elect to either stay and camp in the checkpoint or grab those supplies and continue down the trail to a more ideal location for us or our dog team.
So these dogs are burning a tremendous amount of energy. What are they eating on the trail?
First of all, when you say a tremendous amount of energy, we're talking about up to 12 or even 14,000 calories per day. And this, keep in mind that this is not a human, right? When we think of human athletes that are capable of burning 10 or 12,000 calories a day, you're thinking Michael Phelps, right? And I don't know how much he weighs, but I can guarantee you it's more than 55 pounds. And that's what most of my dogs are. So their calories burned per kilo of body weight is insane. And that's one of the things that makes them the world's premier endurance mammal, is their ability to burn that number of calories, but more importantly, replace that number of calories. We're talking the equivalent to about 35 Big Macs a day that they have to eat. So to get that much fuel into them, first of all, you always have to hit their nutritional needs, right? So we're looking at a lot of protein, and that's mostly going to come by way of beef, chicken, or salmon. Those are kind of the 3 main protein sources. Chicken is a little bit fattier, at least the type of chicken we get is going to have a higher fat content. We also have their dry dog food, which has the somewhat limited but still necessary carbohydrates that they need. It's also going to have some of the base vitamins that they need. So they're going to eat some amount of commercially produced dog food. You're not going to find what we use on your local grocery store shelves. It's a very boutique dog food, very calorie dense. If you fed it to any regular house dog, they would blow up like a balloon. It has a lot of calories in it. And then finally is the fats, right? And that is a huge portion where the fats are really the fuel that they're burning. Unlike human athletes that we primarily focus on, or our bodies primarily burn, blood sugar or glucose. And then when you're running a marathon and you start bonking, it's because your body is transitioning and now trying to burn stored body fat. A canine system is designed to burn fats first, second, and last, right? So that's why they're able to consume that number of calories, is because they're able to eat fat at 9 calories per gram versus carbohydrates or protein at 4 calories per gram. So they're taking in those fats, and then they can very efficiently shift between eating, beef fat, which is one of their main sources, or chicken skins, which is primarily fat, and they love them. And they'll eat that, those calories. They'll either burn it immediately. They can put it, to stored body fat, or they can switch to start, burning stored body fat. They can do those things very, very efficiently without ever really crashing. And that's how they can do 130 miles a day, day after day after day on the Iditarod.